Hey there, fellow travelers. Rwanda might just be Africa's best kept travel secret, and it's actually our favorite country to visit in Africa. So whether you're planning your first visit or just curious about what it's like, this video brings together everything you need to know. From what shocks tourists the most when they visit, to helpful do's and don'ts, travel tips, and some of the great dishes you absolutely have to try when you're there. This is your ultimate guide to visiting Rwanda. And today we're going to talk about are the things you don't do as a tourist when you do come here to Rwanda, okay? And the first don't I have for you is kind of a one that kind of surprised me when I was flying in, and that is actually don't bring any plastic bags when you come to Rwanda. You know those disposable plastic bags you get from, like Walmart or your local grocery store or your local takeout place? Maybe you use those for your dirty clothes. Maybe you use those for just extra carrying kind of things. Well, you know what? They're illegal here in Rwanda, so don't bring them. And the reason why I was surprised is because they even announced it. We flew down with KLM, and they announced it as we're getting ready to land. Oh, by the way, plastic bags are illegal here in Rwanda, so if you have any, you might want to leave them on the plane. So that was the first thing that kind of surprised me, but it's also a don't that you should know. So don't bring those plastic bags. Now, the second don't I have for you is a bit more serious, and it has to do with the genocide here. If you don't know, in 1994, 1 million people were massacred and killed here in Rwanda in about 100 days. It's a very horrible, just atrocity that happened here. And the thing is you'll see memorials all around the country. And my don't for this is don't be disrespectful when going to the genocide memorials or talking about the genocide and stuff like that, because it's still a touchy subject. So it's best to kind of avoid that kind of topic. And so I just wanted to have a heads up for it. Now, I haven't seen anybody doing the selfies at the genocide memorials, thank God, like I've seen in Auschwitz and I've seen at the 9/11 memorial and stuff like that. So in general, I found that tourists here are much more respectful. So just make sure that you're being respectful as well, talking about the genocide and stuff like that. Kind of going along with that is don't ask people if they're Hutu or Tutsi or Twa. You don't do that. Actually, you're not even supposed to ask that here in Rwanda. So don't do that. So my next don't for you is don't litter. When you come here to Rwanda, you will see the streets. They are sparkling clean. Like, we could have lunch on the street, no problem. And you as a tourist need to know that you don't litter here because the streets are super clean. I mean, they have one day a month. The last Saturday of every month is actually dedicated for everybody in the country to clean up their communities. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it means the streets are super clean, so don't litter. But I guess I need to tell you this is don't eat while you're walking around because you're not going to see a lot of garbage cans either, so you're going to be carrying stuff with you. So eat at your hotel or at a restaurant and keep the stuff there, then go out and enjoy the wonderful people and wonderful nature here. But don't litter. Let's keep it beautiful here. Now, my next don't for you has to deal with the water, and you do not drink the tap water here in Rwanda. It is bottled water only, and what's cool is the bottled water is everywhere. I mean, sites had it, stores had it, non-food stores had bottled water, so you can get it. It's super cheap too, so that's really nice. I mean, the water here, you don't even want to brush your teeth with. Most of the hotels will actually give you like a bottled water in your rooms, so you can brush your teeth with the bottled water, okay? So don't drink the tap water. Stick to the bottled water. Now, a fun don't I have for you is don't be too posh for a moto taxi. If you're not sure what a moto taxi is, when you're here, you'll see all these motorcycle guys with a vest on and a helmet, and there might be somebody behind them with another helmet on. The moto taxis are motorcycle taxis. Yes, you can take a motorcycle taxi just for you going around. And yes, they'll have a helmet for you, don't worry. And the thing is, this is the country of 1,000 hills. And it's not little hills, it's steep hills and stuff like that. So when you look in your guidebooks and you look on your maps and it looks like, oh, that place is close, it might be close this way, but not close because you have to go down and then up again. So do have a heads up for that. So those moto taxis can really come in handy. Now, when you're driving around the moto taxi or you're going around town, you're going to see tons of people walking on the streets with their bikes and all kinds of stuff. People pushing, their bike full of, potatoes and stuff like that, or maybe construction equipment and things like that. Or you'll see ladies carrying big jars on their head and stuff like that. And you're like, wow, that's really cool. I want to get a picture of that. Or the beautiful children that are just running around and so happy and waving at you. Oh, I want to get a picture of the people. people? Well, my next don't for you is don't just take pictures of people. Make sure you ask beforehand, hey, is it okay if I take a picture? And don't be surprised if they may say, yeah, sure. And then they might want a little tip or something like that for them. It doesn't always happen, but it could happen. So just be prepared. Have some coins with you, to pay them and stuff like that. I think my next don't that would kind of go along with the money kind of thing is don't forget to bring new US dollars, okay? Now, I'm not saying like brand new, crisp, clean, made in this year. I'm saying anything within the last 5 or 10 years is going to be good, but make sure like they're crisp version. So go to your bank and get US dollars when you come here, because in the tourism industry, everyone will take US dollars, okay? But if you're going to go to some of the smaller stores or tipping people for a photo or something like that, they like to use the Rwandan franc, so you might want to have some of the local currency as well, but it is really a cash-based kind of place. So that next don't I have for you is don't expect to use your credit card very often when you're here, and if you do have credit cards, it's Visa or MasterCard, and that's about it, all right? So have a heads up, but really, don't forget to bring the cash for when you come here. Now, another thing I should talk about is when you're walking around and you're seeing all these people, walking on the streets and stuff like that, you'll see the women are dressed amazing. They have some of the most beautiful dresses I've ever seen in the world, and you'll see people dressed pretty well. And the thing is, you as a tourist, a lot of times when people think, I'm going to East Africa, I'm going on safari, I need to wear safari clothes every single day. Look, my don't for you is don't wear safari clothes unless you're going on safari. Here in Rwanda, people dress a little bit more respectfully, and you as a tourist should do the kind of same thing, okay? So make sure you're dressing the part when you come, and don't wear your safari clothes in Kigali, okay? Just have a heads up for that. Now, when you are going around, you might be taking a guide into the gorillas, right? Or you might have a guide taking you to different places, or a driver and stuff like that. My next don't for you is don't forget to tip your drivers, your guides, the hotel staff. You will tip all these people, okay? That's how they're making their living. And the thing is, if you're at a lodge or you're at a hotel, you don't necessarily tip every single person individually. When you check in, look by the front desk, and there'll be a tip box right there, and you'll just leave a tip at the end when you're there. Think about $10 a day for your room. That's what you want to leave in there, okay? So you have that, but don't forget to tip. It really makes a big difference. If you're going on a tour and you have the same guy the whole time, you tip them at the end, okay? So you do have that. Now, my next don't for you actually has to deal with if you're here near the Volcanoes National Park and you want to see the gorillas. Don't think you could just show up and go to see the gorillas. You actually have to pre-book your trek there, and there's a limited number of spots every single day. So if you don't have one when you're coming here, you might not be able to go. So make sure, maybe once you book your plane tickets, you know when you're going to get here, try to set up your tickets and book there. If you're going to go through a tour, they will set it up for you so you can have that. And know that the trek start early in the morning, okay? So when you're here, don't think, I'm going to have a lie-in, then go see gorillas. No. You get up, you go, and then you trek. And once you find the gorillas, you only get an hour with them, okay? But it is a really amazing experience where they're like right there for you, okay? And I think since so many people come here to Rwanda to see the gorillas, there's some don'ts you should know when you do go see the gorillas. One, don't wear bright clothes or white clothes and stuff like that. You want to have more muted colors when you're there. Another thing is don't use a flash because that can startle them. And also don't go up to the gorillas. Now they may come to you because they don't listen to the rules, okay? But you as a tourist, you want to stay a certain distance away, and the guides will tell you all these things. So make sure you're paying attention. Now, you'll be safe seeing the gorillas. I mean, they haven't had any issues with gorillas and people, so that's a good thing, but I just want to give you a heads up. And I guess this leads into my next don't for you is don't think Rwanda is just going to see gorillas and that's it. I've talked to a number of guides here, and they're like, oh no, people come here and they don't want to see culture, they don't want to see the cities, they just want to go straight to the gorillas and that's it. Well, yeah, seeing the gorillas is great, but don't just see the gorillas. There's so much more here. If you want to go down to Lake Kivu and you can go hit the lake with all the locals and the Rwandans that go down from Kigali on the weekends and stuff like that, or maybe you want to see the Big Five, you can go to Compilation National Park and see them and do your safari kind of stuff there. And that's where you wear your safari clothes, just FYI, okay? Or you can go in Kigali, you see the Genocide Memorial there, and you can see the other things, the museums and stuff that are there. I mean, there's a lot to do here, and it's a really great experience. So don't just think it's just gorillas. It's so much more here. And the people here, I mean, that's been our favorite part. I mean, Jocelyn has cried multiple times when she's here. Yes, when we went to the Genocide Museum or the Genocide Memorial in Kigali, I mean, it's a very powerful museum. The stories and the pictures and stuff like that, it'll bring you to tears. But also the joy you have when you meet the people and you see the stuff here really bring a lot out. And that will bring tears to your eyes as well. How wonderful it is. I know my kids just had a wonderful time playing soccer with the local people and stuff like that. It's just such a wonderful experience. So don't think it's just gorillas. Get out, meet the people, go learn about culture. If you're here seeing the gorillas, you can go to the Gorilla Guardian village. It's where ex-poachers have come, and they now have new jobs. They're not poaching anymore, and they talk about Rwandan culture. They teach you how to shoot the bow and arrow. They teach you about how they made banana beer and stuff like that. And the marriage that we had there, Jocelyn and I got married again, and it's wonderful because they want you to understand their culture, that, hey, we're not just the gorillas and the mist kind of stuff. There's so much more here in Rwanda, so please go and see more than just the gorillas. But yes, do see the gorillas too. Oh, but I will say, don't expect to see the gorillas if you've got kids. You have to be 15 or up to go see the gorillas. If you're under 15, you can't go in. Also, the genocide memorials, under 12, can't go in either, so probably better because it is really impactful because they do show a lot of stuff, okay? And the stories there just break your heart. Some other don'ts you should remember. One, don't forget your vaccines if you're going to be coming here. Now, the thing is there's certain vaccines the CDC does recommend, so make sure you get those. But you also might need updates for old ones. Maybe you need a booster for your tetanus or something like that, or a typhoid shot, because those, I think, only last for a couple years. Talk to your doctor. Let them know where you're going to be going, because you might be coming here to Rwanda, then going to Tanzania or Kenya. Let them, maybe you need a yellow fever vaccine. Check those things out before you come. Also, check into malaria medicine as well, because you might need that too. Another don't I have for you is don't forget to bring a universal plug, because here in Rwanda you'll see the circle, mainland Europe plugs, but also you'll see the UK 3-prong plugs, okay? And there's not like they have both in every place. It switches in different places we've gone to, so have that universal plug that'll switch between the two. Now, I know I just talked about all those vaccines and stuff like that, but I will say is don't be paranoid about the vaccines. Don't be paranoid about diseases and stuff like that. This is super clean here. You're not going to have really any problems when you are here. Those just preventative measures, because I know I've talked to guides and they're like, yeah, I don't ever take the malaria stuff when I come down here. It's fine, but you need to talk to your doctor for those things. But we've had a great time here and we haven't had any issues, so it's been cool for us. Another don't I have for you is don't worry if you're a vegetarian, because here there's a lot of vegetarians, so you can eat lots and lots of different vegetarian meals when you're here, and they're super tasty. I know a lot of the lodges we've stayed at, they've had like 4 choices for dinner. 2 are meat and 2 are vegetarian, and the vegetarian ones have been better for me a lot of times than the meat options, but there are some good meat stuff when you are here. I like the Rwandan chicken. The goat was really good too, but for me, man, get some beans and stuff like that and some of the veggie meals. That's the way to go. And my last don't for you here in Rwanda is don't disparage their president. I know in some countries it's kind of a popular thing to do, is like make fun of leaders and stuff like that. Well, here in Rwanda, they love their president, and they're like, hey, he's really done a good job of helping bring us to where we are today. And so if you make jokes or any kind of stuff like that about it, it probably won't be taken too well, even if you mean it in jest. So just have a heads up for that. But in general, I would say don't skip out on Rwanda. This country has been fantastic. My kids have loved it. My wife has loved it. She even said this in Greece, the place that really touched her heart the most when she traveled. So I hope you can come here and have it touch your heart like it's touched ours, because I'm getting goosebumps thinking about how much fun we've had when we're here.
Hey, welcome to Rwanda. My name is Paul, Shadows of Africa guide. Rwanda is my home country, my lovely country. I don't think I can live anywhere else.
It's gorgeous here.
So when you come to Rwanda, it's not only gorillas or wildlife. It's all about people. People are so nice. They give you warm welcome everywhere you go. Very things important to know when you come to Rwanda. How to greet people in the local language.
Yes, of course.
Hello, it's Muraho.
Muraho.
Thank you, Murakoze.
Murakoze.
And Murabeho is goodbye.
Murabeho.
Yes.
Murabeho.
And then, welcome to Rwanda, Murakazaneza, Murwanda. That's it.
Cool. Yeah. And the thing is, when you're here, it's easy to get around because a lot of people do speak English, which is nice. They learn in school.
Yes. It's something coming in. We, as Rwanda was known as a Belgium colony, a couple of years ago, we shifted from French to English. So now all young kids at school are learning everything in English, which is something is coming now. Mm-hmm. But it's always good to know the local language, which is easy to communicate with the local people. When you greet the local people in their language, they feel like you're not a strange person to them. It's like, wow, this person from nowhere, he can't speak my language.
Yeah, and it really opens people up. And you'll see so many smiles when you're here, and the kids waving and everything.
And everywhere.
Make sure you got your arm ready to wave a lot, because you're going to wave a lot when you're here.
Yes, you make sure that's how kids, how people wave. You do like this.
Yes, not like this.
No, this.
No,
When
that
you
means-
do this, kid's gonna come towards you.
This is just waving.
That's
It
the
was
right
pretty
way
funny.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people are coming here, like, what are some of the main places they should visit when they come here to Rwanda? Because we know, like, you got the Volcano National Park
It's
behind
called
us.
Muhabura, 4,127 meters above sea level.
You can
It's the
hike that if you
second
want.
highest. Yes, you can. Takes almost 7 hours to get on the top.
Oh, wow.
Well, 7 around the trip.
So when they go, so the Volcano National Park, you can go hike with or trek with the gorillas.
Yes, you can visit Diana for his grave. Diana is an American biologist lady who did a great job with these gorillas. Well, my personal belief, without her, people could not be able to see these gorillas at this time. And there's also endangered golden monkeys. Golden monkeys are only be found in the Virunga Conservation Area, which is combining these forests we see. Behind on the right, Uganda, and behind on the left side is Congo. So that forest, it's only one place we can see track golden monkeys. And also you can hike one of these volcanoes. This one it can be hiked, which normally takes 7 to 8 hours around the trip. Farther where we can't see because of these kind of hazy crowds, we are in very high elevation, about 2,500 meters above sea level.
You feel it sometimes.
Yeah,
can't
farther there's what we call a crater lake. It's a volcano with a crater lake on the top. You just hike and you get on the top. And also you can hike one of the highest volcano we have, about 14,700. Normally that is only one place in the entire country where we can have a snow in our winter time.
Cool.
The rest of the country, no snow.
No snow.
So if you want to be away from snow, come to Rwanda.
Yeah. Okay. So we got here by the Volcano National
Yes.
Park. So but there's other things. What about if I want to go see the Big Five?
Yes.
Yeah. If I want to go do the
this
safari
is
stuff.
northwest part of the country. That's where we are, which is the home of the mountain gorillas. But we have also southwest part of the country. Nyungwe National Park is the home of 13 primate species, including chimpanzee.
Oh, cool.
But also in between Volcanoes National Park and the Nyungwe National Park, we have Lake Kivu.
Yes.
Lake Kivu is a beautiful place to go if you really want to relax. If you really want to enjoy the water bodies, beautiful hotels. If you want to do kayaking, canoeing, if you want to do any water sport, it's available there. So mostly when we come to Rwanda and you want to visit the both national park, we always advise to have one day in between two parks. You just relax, you be on the water bodies, and then you go to Nyungwe National Park. Nyungwe National Park, as I say, the home of 13 primate species. It's rainforests. It's one of the largest rainforests remaining in East Africa. And also 70% of the rain we get in this country comes from there.
Oh, wow.
So it's our main water tank.
Yeah.
For this country.
Cool.
As we continue further to the east, we go to Akagera National Park. Akagera National Park is among of the oldest national park in Africa. It has been there since 1934. That was after 9 years when Volcanoes National Park was gazetted.
Yeah.
And Volcanoes National Park is the first national park in Africa.
Yes, that's right.
People need to know that.
That's right. That's the first one.
Right there. And after you drive in the open savanna area, which is a home of Big Five, as I said, Akagera National Park. Akagera National Park, you'll be able to see all Big Five. And also it has a couple of lakes where you can do a boat ride. You see crocodiles, hippos, and people are so interested in bird watching. Rwanda is also one of the bird watching activities. 627 bird species, and Akagera National Park has almost 525 bird species out of 600 we have in the entire country. So it's a beautiful place to go. Akagera is not only animals you're gonna see on the ground.
Yeah.
Also, Akagera National Park has a couple of lakes, about 9 lakes in the park, where mostly some of them you do the boat trip to see a Nile crocodile, which is one of the largest crocodile in the world. And you'll be able to see schools of hippos and colonies of birds. Every single corner you take the boat, they're there. And it's so beautiful place to be. I always recommend someone to go there. On the top of that, there's a new national park. It's called Gishwati and Mukura Forest.
Okay.
It's a fragment of Nyungwe National Park. It's a little forest which is located in between the Volcanoes National Park and the Nyungwe National Park. It's now a protected area.
Okay.
It's a home of chimpanzee.
Oh.
We are thinking in the next couple of years it will be also some place where people can track chimpanzee apart from Nyungwe National Park. But don't forget to overnight in Kigali,
Yes.
which is in the middle of the country, one of the cleanest city in the world.
In the
I'm
world,
saying
honestly.
in the world.
Yes. I mean, he picked us up, and I'm
yes.
like, we could eat off the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that clean and super safe too.
I keep telling people that be surprised when you see garbage.
Yeah.
If you don't see garbage, that's how it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
amazing.
This came from us. And then every last Saturday, every month is where the whole community gather together to keep their village clean. And that's how we made it. And then now the local people have already culture of keep everything clean. We don't throw latrines or garbage everywhere, yeah, which is great. Otherwise, if you know someone is gonna clean it, you might throw things, but now you feel uncomfortable to throw garbage where you don't see any garbage. If you could be garbage, you could throw them there,
Yeah.
but you don't want to mess up.
No.
Anyway, so it's so beautiful city. We always visit Kigali Genocide Memorial, mostly where we pay respect to our victims, the people we lost during genocide, 25 years now. Over 1 million people were killed. And also you learn a lot how Rwanda recovered so quickly after that. And I always tell people, when you talk about bad leadership and a good leadership, Rwandese people are the people to witness that, because we had both experience. So the former governments which led us to genocide, it was really totally bad, but now we are enjoying a good leadership
Yeah.
that we have since after genocide, which has managed to bring every community together, and the unity and reconciliation is still going on. Come to Rwanda.
Yes. Come, please.
Come, please. We are there. Make sure you contact Shadows of Africa,
They've been great. Paul's been awesome.
and we're gonna make it happen. And I'm sure you're gonna enjoy.
Cool. Thank you.
Murakoze.
Murakoze. Thank you, Paul. Honestly, if you've seen any of our Rwanda videos, you know we love it. Tears to our eyes in such powerful emotional things we've seen here. Good, bad, everything. It's such a great place. But I want to give you some of the tourist shocks you might have when you're here. And the first shock a lot of tourists have is they fly into Kigali and they walk out. It's how clean this country is, especially the capital, Kigali. I mean, you can eat off the streets. It's how clean it is. The people take pride in their country and they keep it super clean. It's so much of an importance to be clean that actually the last Saturday of every month, the entire country goes and cleans their neighborhoods. It's amazing. So you don't see litter on the street. You don't see garbage anywhere around. You see people always cleaning up and picking things up, and it makes it such a beautiful country to be to. And that's what shocks you, man. It's so clean. I mean, I wish my hometown was as clean as Rwanda. It is just awesome. Now, the second thing that shocks people when they come here is their road experience. And when I say road experience, one, the roads are really good if you're on the highways. Even if you're on some of these back roads down here, it might be a little bumpy, but they're still pretty good. But the really shocking part of the road experience is seeing the people on the sides of the roads. Because here, people walk everywhere, they ride bikes everywhere, stuff like that, and you will see people, you'll see women carrying huge jugs on top of their head, and maybe with a cell phone in one hand, an umbrella in the other hand, and the baby on the back just walking down the street. Or you'll see guys pushing bicycles with huge sacks of potatoes on the back, or maybe some construction equipment on there, and just walking down the road, waving hi at you and stuff like that. Or the kids you see walking to or from school, and they're so excited to see you, and they're all waving, and you wave back to them. It's just such a wonderful experience when you're on there, and you're like, I can just take pictures all the time when I'm on the road here. And it's really kind of a cool thing. And of course, I guess you could say some people get shocked when they see the people walking their goats with them, because the goats got to be tied up. You can't let them roam free here. You got to keep things clean, okay? Now, the next thing that shocks some of the tourists when they do come here are the moto taxis, the motorcycle taxis. Yes, you will see people driving around with a vest on and a helmet, taking people in the back with their helmet on as well. Yes, the moto taxis. I know in our don'ts we talk about don't be too posh for a moto taxi, because you can't, because the thing is, this is the country of 1,000 hills. I know I say it all the time, but it really is. And it may seem like, oh, it's not that far going this way, but with all the hills, it can be pretty far. So even in Kigali, you know what? Hop on the back of the moto taxi. They will have a helmet for you and you have to wear it, and they'll take you around. But it can be shocking when you're like, man, goodness, there's a lot of motorcycle taxis. Oh, also, there's bike taxis as well. Now, the fourth thing that shocks tourists when they come here to Rwanda is actually you can get up close and personal with gorillas. You see the volcano behind me, that mountain there? It's a volcano. It's part of Volcanoes National Park, and back over that way, that's where Diane Fossey was. You can actually trek with gorillas, mountain gorillas, like walk through them and see that. And it's such a cool experience. It's a little pricey to go, but it's well worth it. And you're there and you're so close to them, and you're not supposed to go up to them, but they might come up to you, which might be a little shocking, or when one runs out of the back, you're like, ah. But don't worry, you'll be okay. You'll be shocked how calm they are, what a great experience it is when you are here. And that's one of the things people love about Rwanda. And when they think about Rwanda, they think going to see the gorillas. Well, you know what? It's right there. That's where you can do it, and it's really, really cool. But I want to talk about some other stuff too, so we'll move on to another location to finish off these shocks. Now, the fifth thing that shocks people when they do come here to Rwanda is actually there's more than just gorillas. I know our guide Paul and I, we've had a long discussion. We have a whole video about all the different stuff you can do here in Rwanda, but it's amazing how they think it's just gorillas and they don't realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised that there's so much more. So whether you're going to Lake Kivu or you're going to some of the other lakes you can see here, like where I was filming before, or if you want to go to some of the other national parks that are here, you can check out. I mean, if you go to Akagera National Park, I know I'm butchering the name, but if you go there, that's where you can see the big five, you know, see those things there. There's a lot to do. Checking out Kigali, probably the cleanest city, well, definitely the cleanest city I've been to in a long time, anywhere around the world, but it is one of the cleanest capitals in the world, and there's some great stuff to see there. Obviously, there's a lot of the genocide memorials you can see when you're around here, and I'll talk about that later in the shocks. But there's actually a lot to do here that's not just, you know, I'm going to look at gorillas, you know. And for example, if you are around here by the Volcanoes National Park, you can go to the Gorilla Guardian Village, which is basically a bunch of ex-poachers have come in and developed this park. And what it does, it tells you the history of Rwanda, teaches you the cultural kind of stuff of it. You get to see the dances, you get to see a marriage, you get to see all kinds of cool stuff, how to shoot arrows, how they would make their spears. I mean, it's really kind of a cool thing. And the people are so enthusiastic about it that you can't help but be enthusiastic about it as well, which is really awesome. Now, the sixth thing that shocks people when they come here is how safe you feel when you're here in Rwanda. You know, from the clean streets, the super friendly people, to all these kind of things, you do feel really safe when you're walking around town, or you're waving at the people when you're going by, or if you're taking a moto taxi around town, you're like, wow, I mean, I feel a little unsafe on the back of a motorcycle, but I don't feel unsafe in general. And that's one of the things people get very surprised about, because when they think of Rwanda, they think of the genocide, right? And they're thinking, oh, is it going to be safe when I'm there? It's 25 years ago, okay? Like, you really feel super safe when you are here in Rwanda, whether you're in the mountains, whether you're, you know, at Lake Kivu, whether you're at the parks. I mean, it's a really great thing. And though I will say, I do say you'll be surprised how safe you are, you might also be a little shocked when you go to like malls or some places where they'll actually have people with metal detectors, and they'll check your bags and they'll look underneath your car to make sure everything's okay. Don't worry, it's safe. And yes, the cops do walk around with AK-47s, but as some of my friends here told me, you know, no one's scared of a pistol. So you got to carry something that the bad guys are scared of. So that was kind of a funny thing there. Now, the seventh thing that shocked me when I was here is this really is a vegetarian's dream. Now, I'm not a vegetarian, but during my time here, I've become vegetarian for at least the week I'm here, because the food, it really has a lot of really great veggie-based things. Like, you have a lot of bean stuff, a lot of potato, a lot of sweet potato, banana, stuff like this. But how they make it with the sauces is fantastic. And so you'll see on your menus, a lot of times you're staying at like a lodge like this one and you're eating at their restaurant, they'll have 2 meat options and 2 vegetable options, because the people here, a ton of them are vegetarians, because they're like, look, it's a cash crop with that cow. I'm not gonna turn it into a steak. I'm gonna sell that milk. I'm gonna sell that its dung and stuff like that for fertilizer. So it is kind of interesting how, like, this is a super vegetarian place. And the 8th thing that shocks people when they come here is how incredibly friendly and hospitable the Rwandans are. I mean, everywhere we've gone, people have been, hey, how are you? People come up and talk to you, ask you what you're doing here. Do you like Rwanda? You know, the people are always saying hi when you go to all your lodges, when you're going to the hotels, when you're going around town. I mean, it's just incredible how friendly and outgoing the people are, and how much they want you to have a good time when you are here. And they do ask you, What do you think of Rwanda? What have you enjoyed here? What have you done here? Where are you going next? Like, the people are just so outgoing and friendly, and you'll see that when you see the ladies dressed up and walking down the street waving at you, or the little kids that will come and swarm you and just try to talk to you for a little bit, or if you go into one of the malls or one of the shops, people just come up and say hi and want to talk. It's really a cool thing, and it's not shocking, it's just a wonderful thing about how nice the people are here. And then the ninth thing that's going to shock you when you come here, and this is one of the things that probably should be earlier, but I wanted to get the fun stuff out of the way first. The ninth thing that will shock you is the horror and atrocities that were committed during the genocide here in 1994. For those of you who don't know, in 1994, in 100 days, 1 million people were massacred. Okay, with machetes. I mean, the stories were horrendous. And if this is the kind of stuff that upsets you, it's okay. Stop watching the video now and know you'll enjoy Rwanda, okay? Or skip ahead to where I talk about the tent shock, which is a good thing. But when you go around and you go to the genocide memorials and you go to the church where some of the massacres occurred, like, they don't hide into this stuff. You see the stuff. I mean, you see the pictures. You read about the stories. You see how people were killed. And it wasn't just old guys like me. It was babies and kids and women and children. I mean, it's horrific. And I mean, it will shock you just all what happened here. And it really, like, it'll bring you to tears when you're there. And there's a lot of genocide memorials around the country that you can visit, which you really can educate yourself about what's going on. Because I was a kid, I remember watching the genocide on TV. I remember seeing these things like, why is no one doing anything? Like, oh, it's a civil war. It does not. I'm like, no, this was horrible what's happening here. And you'll be, ashamed of your own country. Why didn't we do something when this happened? And it really does move you when you are here to see what happened during those 100 days. But the 10th thing that shocks you, and the thing that really gives you hope for mankind itself, is how well this country has come back together. How forgiveness and working together has really rebuilt this country into a fantastic place for people to live, for people to work, for the country to develop, for tourists to come here. Their infrastructure's developed so much in the last 25 years. This is a fantastic place to visit, but it really shows you that, man, if they can overcome that and come together as a people, because they're not Hutu or Tutsi or Twa, they're Rwandan, okay? And you're here and you see that it's Rwanda first, you really see maybe we all can get along when we see these kind of things and this kind of thing here. And that's one of the things that's really inspired us about coming here, and as we've been here, to see how the people have really come together. And it is shockingly wonderful how they have overcome the horrors and the atrocities of the genocide over 25 years ago to today. So I hope this helps you know a little bit more about some of the culture things when you do come here to Rwanda. It is a fantastic country. We have enjoyed our time here. We've made so many friends, met so many people, played soccer with so many kids around the country. It's just been a really great thing. And today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes we've seen tourists make when they're coming to Rwanda and when they've been here.
So the first mistake is that people are focused on the guerrillas and the genocide. And there is so much more to this country than just guerrillas and genocide. Guerrillas are really cool and their numbers are on the rise, and so that's a really important thing. And the genocide is a really important part of the history of this country. But what is more important is the forgiveness and this culture that has come partially from that, but from their history. And we have had the most amazing time getting to know locals and experiencing the culture firsthand and witnessing the forgiveness, the justice that has come from this. And it is something that you really should not miss. You really need to take time to get away from just the memorials and the guerrillas and get in touch with the people.
And one of the things, I think another mistake people make is a lot of people, they stay at lodges and you have all the staff that's here. And the thing is, the staff and the people here in Rwanda are great. I think the mistake people make, though, is they don't talk to the staff. They don't chat up with their bartender or their waiter and stuff like that, because the people are so open.
They've been amazing, and we've had really wonderful conversations about anything and everything on earth with our wait staff.
Yeah, and I mean, even some of them have been playing soccer with our kids. It's one of those things, but you really kind of miss out, because I've seen tourists here where we're at, and they're like, I want a beer, and then that's it. And the people are willing to talk. If you're friendly to them, they're going to be friendly back and share so much stuff. So don't make the mistake. Make sure you're talking to your staff, your guides, things like that, because you can get so much more out of your trip.
So another mistake that people make is not tipping their hotel staff, their guides, their porters, and people in restaurants and things. So to give you kind of an idea of how to do that and what's expected, it's about $10 per day per room in a hotel. Your guides are $5 to $10 per day per person, and the porters about the same?
Well, if you're going to be doing like the gorilla trek, you want to pay them about $10 to $15 if you're going to be trekking with them. And one of the things that's cool is like some people get worried about who do I tip. What's nice is if you're at the hotel, you'll see they'll have a tip box that's locked, that's by the front desk. At the end of your stay, just tip them there for that.
You just tip everybody at one time, and then they divide it up evenly amongst the employees. And it's a really great way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
And then
everyone's contributing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. And you'll want to tip because the people are great. Now, another mistake we see is a lot of people don't leave their lodge. Like they'll go to the gorillas or go see the gold monkeys, and they just stay in their lodge, and they don't experience the culture here. I mean, we've gone out. The kids are playing soccer with how many kids here? I mean,
villages on the side of the road.
Yeah, I mean, meeting people all over, and
great.
And it's really, really a safe country. And I'll have Jonathan talk about that in a sec. So you need to get away from the lodge for a bit. And the thing is, your guide would be glad to set up stuff for you if you're here with a guide or other stuff.
Paul took us out. Our guide Paul took me out to buy fabric, and he took us. Somehow along the way, we have lost socks and underwear, so he took us out to buy socks and underwear for the kids. But we got to go into malls and shops and interact with people, and it was every instance was impactful for all of us, and it was really brilliant experience.
Yeah, and the people will come and talk to you like, hey, what are you doing here? How do you find Rwanda?
Yeah.
And you really see how friendly the people are. And I think this kind of leads into probably the biggest mistake people make when they think of Rwanda.
And the biggest mistake is thinking that Rwanda isn't safe. Rwanda is the safest country in Africa, and
the capital, Kigali, is one of the safest capitals in the world.
And I'm going to tell you, nowhere have we been that I felt uncomfortable or unsafe. I mean, we do our normal travel safety, just be aware and things like that, but I've never felt threatened or like anything was ever going to happen to us. And actually, I know for a fact that this place is significantly safer than where we actually live. So
yes.
That means something to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only is it safe, you are welcome, and people will make you feel welcome. Give people a wave, they'll light up and start a conversation often.
Yeah.
So
and don't make, Jocelyn made this mistake. Remember, this is waving at people here with the open hand. If you do this, it means come here. So that's a mistake.
So don't do this. Do this.
Do this, because you'll have tons of people come to say hi.
But you'll have lots of people waving back.
Yeah. Now, another mistake we've seen that a lot of times the lodges, when you're staying at places, they'll cook a lot of like Western meals, kind of stuff like that, like beef nachos or a chicken steak
anywhere,
or something
right?
like that.
Some curries, just different foods.
And the food's been great. Lots of vegetarian stuff.
Absolutely.
It's been fantastic, but you have a lot of international food, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is don't be afraid. This is a mistake I saw a lot of people make. They didn't ask the staff, hey, could we have something Rwandan? They'll be glad to make it for you.
Yesterday at lunchtime, I mean, you need to give them
some warning.
Yeah, give them a little time to get things prepared. But we asked to talk to the chef. He came up and we said, we'd really like to have something Rwandan tonight, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, how about this? He's like, this is what we all eat all the time. And so we said, that sounds great. He made it. It was a wonderful meal. Super filling.
Yeah, it's like banana, potato, chicken, and a peanut sauce.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Yeah, but it was really filling.
Yeah.
But, we got something that was local, and our kids got to try something that was, just exactly what they would eat if they lived here. And to finish off, the last mistake that people make is by not coming to Rwanda. This place has been on my list for years. I finally got here, and it exceeded all of my expectations. And we travel a bit.
Yeah.
Rarely does a place exceed what I expect from it the way Rwanda did. It has been over the top. The people are just some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
I've cried every day. Every day we've been here because it's been
such a wonderful experience.
It's the joy. It's just exuberant. The life, everything. I love it. So don't make the mistake of not coming to Rwanda.
Yeah, because it's safe, it's fun, the people are great, you got good food, amazing sights in nature. You can't miss out.
I cannot cheerlead this on enough. Come to Rwanda and enjoy every minute of it.
So thank you for watching. I hope we help you not make some mistakes when you come to Rwanda, because you really should. You're going to come and you're going to love it.
So the first thing you're going to want to pack are clothes, because generally speaking, polos, t-shirts, blouses, things like that are just fine. Maybe some short sleeve things here and there, but you definitely want to have long sleeves occasionally in the morning and evening. Mosquitoes can be kind of bad. Quite frankly, I found them to be worse in Kigali than they were up here in the higher elevations. Some lightweight pants and maybe skirts, longer skirts would be good too for the bottom half. And you definitely want to take some lightweight to mid-weight jackets, something that's packable. As always, I like dressing in layers, tank top, t-shirt, maybe a pullover, something like that. And then you can remove the jacket as needed during the day. And it's definitely cooler up here in the mountains than it is in the city, so be prepared for that. On your hikes, if you're going trekking for gorillas and things, you definitely want to wear, outdoor clothes, and you need to not wear bright colors. So think, olive greens, beiges, khaki, things like that. So that you're kind of calm and blending in with the scenery and things like that. So when you're in towns and villages, it's fine to wear normal clothes. I do want to say, especially ladies, you need to dress modestly, nothing low cut, nothing really short, nothing really tight. So don't wear leggings. Unless you have a dress or skirt over them, don't wear open neck things. Just be respectful when you dress. You can also wear normal colored clothes when you're in the cities and villages, and actually probably better to wear those clothes than your safari stuff. You kind of stick out like a sore thumb if you're wearing safari clothes in the middle of Kigali or the middle of the village. Usual t-shirt and pants and things, jeans, that's fine for those kind of settings. So let's talk about footwear. Footwear is pretty important, right? And when you are up in the mountains and you're trekking, you definitely need to have good hiking boots. And waterproof hiking boots would be best, because let me tell you, it gets really muddy up there. I've seen every day they've brought in everybody's hiking boots, and the staff cleans them, and they are caked. Just caked in mud. So be aware of that. Make sure you're planning well. When you're in town, lightweight shoes, even flip-flops. I wore Vans or Cons the whole time, or my flip-flops everywhere in cities and the villages, and that was perfectly fine. You don't need to walk around in heavy old boots and things like that. I like kind of to have a pair of flip-flops now and again for showers and things like that, just where you might get wet and it's easier to take care of that. So socks and underwear, I would suggest buying and bringing quick dry socks and underwear, because you don't want to have to pack a ton of that stuff. And it's always easier if you got something you can wash out and have it dry the next day or something like that. But also up here in the higher elevations, it's a little bit damp and it takes longer for things to dry. So if you have something quick drying, it might just dry in a normal amount of time. So let's talk about bug stuff, because you're gonna need it. There it is. I always travel with bug bands. Our kids have them, we have them. They're really great. I've noticed that the mosquitoes are much worse in Kigali and the lower elevations than they are up here. Up here high, there are mosquitoes now and then, but they're not terrible. I also like to use bug lotion rather than bug spray. You can bring bug spray and it'll be fine, but the bug lotions, those they stay on for about 14 hours. So maybe that's a better use of your space and your amount of liquids you're allowed to bring with you. So in case those things fail and you do get some bug bites, I would recommend bringing some kind of after bite thing to kind of relieve the itchiness, and maybe if you get some swelling or things like that. So look at some after bite stuff too. I'll give you guys a few bonus tips, and some of those will be about the bug stuff. So let's talk about sun stuff. You want to bring some sunscreen, and you might want to look and see if you can find sunscreen that works along with your bug lotion or your bug spray, because sometimes they counteract one another and they bring their potencies down. So look into buying something that interacts well together. So bring some lip balm with some SPF, a hat with a wide brim, some sunglasses. When I travel, I bring $3 sunglasses that I get at Target or Walmart or something, because I'm infamous for sitting on them, dropping them, breaking them, losing them, whatever. So don't spend a ton of money on it, but have some sunglasses along with you. Along with that sun stuff, you might want to bring a swimsuit, because often the lodges have pools, or you might want to go swimming down at the lake with all the locals. So think about packing one of those too. So the reason all that sun stuff is really important is that you're really not far from the equator. So even on days when it's not terribly sunny and things like that, you might get kind of red because you forgot to put your sun stuff on.
Sorry.
So don't forget to put it on, even if it's not a strong sun day, because it's a little bit tougher here because you're near the equator. And right now we're up 6,000 feet, so that's important. As always, we have to talk about what electronics to pack. First and foremost here, bring a camera. Bring a good camera, because man, this place, everywhere you look, there's cool vistas. And I mean, if you're gonna go gorilla trekking, you're really gonna wanna get pictures of that, right? Nobody's gonna believe that you did it if you don't. So bring a good camera. Also, bring a really good power supply backup and backup batteries that are fully charged. Remember to charge those things every night, because when you're hiking or you're out for long periods of time, you're not going to be able to do that, and you're not going to want to miss a shot because you're too stupid to bring a backup power bank. If you're trekking or you're going birding, by the way, that's another cool thing to do up here in the mountains. You might want to bring yourself a decent pair of binoculars just to see something, a little further away. And quite frankly, I don't think that's a bad idea anyway, because this is the land of 1,000 hills, and you may want to see across to the next hill, and binoculars might really come in handy for that. So let's talk toiletries and medicines. I'll start with medicines first. Before you come, you need to go look at the CDC's website and check out their list of suggested things that you need to have before you come to Rwanda. This is a tropical place in Africa, and so we need to be aware of some things, especially with those stinking mosquitoes. So we all got yellow fever and typhoid shots, and we also got, Mark and I had to get hepatitis because that wasn't already in our inoculations from when we were younger. So pay attention to what you've already had, and if you're not sure, talk to your doctor. Read up on the CDC's website, and I'm not a doctor, I can't tell you what to do, but they'll give you much better information than I will. Another thing that you can bring is malaria medicine. Again, stinky mosquitoes. Malaria pills are something that most people do here. We've been doing them. They've been pretty easy. First day I had mine, I got a little nauseous, but after that I learned to eat how much I needed to eat with each pill, and it's been fine since then. So you'll need to take those, and you start them a couple days before you come during your stay, and then you'll have to take them a few days after, just in case you got bit like last day or something. So they want you to continue that antibiotic for a little while afterward. Our doctors, both the children's doctors and mine and Mark's, all gave us an extra antibiotic should we get some kind of cootie, or if we get traveler's diarrhea and it just doesn't stop, and so maybe it's parasite or something. They gave us a general antibiotic, so you may want to ask your doctor about that, and they may recommend it, they may not. But it's just something to kind of keep in mind when you're packing those medicines. So along with that traveler's diarrhea thing, you're not supposed to drink the water, and that goes for ice, obviously, of course, unless your lodge, like ours here at 5 Volcanoes, they make their ice with bottled water. So we can have ice if we want it. I don't really need the ice, but it's nice that they have it for us. So, but make sure that you ask that before you just go drinking cocktails with ice in them. So we also always travel with Imodium, some kind of anti-diarrheal medicine and anti-nausea medicine. There are several of them out on the market. I know in the US often you need to have a prescription for that, so you may want to ask your doctor if they'll give you one or if they think that you should have one. But it's always a good idea as far as we're concerned when you're out and about and you've got all these other kind of cootie things to worry about. Having nausea on top of it just sort of sucks. So ask your doctor about that too. So that's it for medicines. Although I always carry a few Advil, or paracetamol, something for like headache and things like that. Nothing big, but just like the basic. I just have a few of those pills in case somebody gets a headache or a boo-boo and they need a little something. And remember, if you're traveling with your kids, you may need to bring children's kind, not just the adult kind, because sometimes the kids can't take like the same Pepto-Bismol tablets that we adults can take. So keep that in mind and bring the kids stuff if you're bringing your children. So let's talk about the toiletries. I just brought my normal toiletries, shampoo, conditioner. I did bring a little thing of soap, and actually haven't needed to use shampoo, conditioner, or soap because all of our lodges and hotels have had that on hand, so it was kind of nice. I didn't need it, but I always bring it just in case. So, you got your toothbrush and your toothpaste. Don't brush your teeth with the water. It's just like the drinking. You don't want to be brushing with that, although I made that mistake the other day. Whoops. I just rinsed my toothbrush out and we'll cross our fingers. Everything's been okay so far. But remember that when you're brushing your teeth, you just use the bottled water. And you know what? Everyone has provided that. There have been bottles of water next to our bed. There have always been a couple of bottles in the bathroom too. So they know that our tummies are weak and we can't handle it. So don't worry too much about it. I also sort of suggest bringing some TP, toilet paper or tissues, and maybe a little bag of some sort to keep them in, so that if you're up trekking and you gotta go and you don't want to drip dry or otherwise, you might want to put that paper in something so that you're not carrying around dirty paper, but you also don't want to leave the paper, out in the nature. So make sure that you have it with you and you have something to keep it in until you can get to a proper trash receptacle and put it away. So on that, Rwanda has completely banned plastic bags, like no shopping bags. Our Ziploc bags that our liquids came in, they let those through fine. That wasn't an issue. But know that you can't just be toting around plastic bags for wet things and all that. So just be prepared for that. Don't bring it in. And yay, Rwanda, way to ban plastic bags. So another thing you absolutely have to bring is some money. Preferably US dollars, and they like them to be crisp. We brought a lot of small bills for tipping. You tip your porters, your guides, your hotel staff, wait staff, things like that. And they have these great little boxes that you just put that into, and it makes it really easy for you. But US dollars are appreciated in many places, although some places certainly do Rwandan stuff, and they have a really good exchange. So that was really easy when we did need to exchange money, but they liked getting good, crisp American money at the exchange also. You'll need to pay for your visa when you come through. Of course, every country is different, but we as Americans needed to pay $30, and we paid it at immigration when we came through and we did the border crossing and everything like that. It may be different for other places, so make sure that you're prepared for that. But $30 in crisp American money works just fine for us. So here are some bonus tips. Whenever we're traveling to places with a lot of mosquitoes and where they carry a lot of big cooties like malaria and yellow fever and things, I like to spray our clothes with permethrin, and it's this crazy bug spray. You put it all over your clothes, you let it dry, and then you pack your clothes. And then when the mosquito comes and lands on you, it dies. And it brings me joy. So you may want to pick some of that up before you come. Let your clothes, just lay them out, follow the directions. It's really pretty easy, but it's a great thing to do. So I told you about bug lotions. There are quite a few of them out there, and I really like the ones that Sawyer Products makes. They also make the permethrin that I use on our clothes, and they also have a sunscreen that interacts well with bug lotion or bug spray. So I would suggest looking into Sawyer, and it's because all those things work really well together rather than mixing up different brands, but they happen to be my favorite. Remember how I told you that plastic bags are banned in Rwanda? It is not a bad idea to bring with you like a really thin canvas or cloth bag of some sort and just keep it in case you need it. You can also buy some really beautiful bags here in Rwanda, and they're handmade, and so you're supporting the locals. But if you don't want to do that, or you don't think you're going to be able to get in to shop and things like that, which, by the way, that would be a mistake, you can go ahead and bring your own. But I'm going to tell you, I think you should go shopping in Rwanda.
Today we're here outside of the Gorilla Guardians Village. This is actually a really cool place if you're coming to the Volcanoes National Park and you're going to hike with the gorillas, but you want to learn about some Rwandan history and Rwandan culture and see some of the historic dances and foods and stuff like that. This is a place you're going to definitely want to come. It's actually been set up, and it's actually run by former poachers that have changed their lives, and they're like, look, we're going to give back to our communities. It's a wonderful experience when you're here. You get to see how they made the spears. They've got the little thing where they're hammering away at it. You get to learn how to shoot bow and arrows. If you're lucky enough, you get to marry your wife again, like I did in this ceremony. You get to dress up as the king and queen, and they really do a great job of telling you about the history of Rwanda, but give you an idea of the culture. Because a lot of the stuff around Rwanda, when you're here, you're going to go trekking right into the gorillas, see the gorillas when you are here, of course. But a lot of times you're looking at genocide stuff when you're here, and you don't get a lot of the culture, like what was it beforehand. And so that's one of the great things about coming here. So if you are up here and you are going to be doing your hike through the gorillas, make sure you do come here to the Gorilla Guardians Village, because it's a really great way of seeing the culture, and the people are fantastic. And the thing is, when it's there, you'll see traditional dances, you'll meet the people, they're so friendly, and your donations go back to help the community here, because this is one of those things. This is one of the great things when you go travel. You get to see places that are really giving back to the community and helping the community. So if you are here, definitely come here, because you're going to spend a whole day hiking, right, and going to see the gorillas and doing all the trekking and stuff like that, and you're going to come back tired. The next day you're like, I just want to do something easy but cultural and fun. This is something you should definitely do. And Jocelyn wants to tell you something too.
So rarely do I come somewhere and I feel so a part of something, but I cried no less than 3 times during this experience. It was so moving and so emotional, and so well done. I really want people to come here and to see this and experience Rwanda and what it used to be like and what they're still keeping alive. I think that's hugely important, that the culture is still here and we get to experience it. I feel so blessed to have been a part of this. Marrying Mark again was the highlight for me. I cried and it was just incredible. But come and see the Gorilla Guardians village. I mean, it's an experience worth every minute.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we have loved our time in Rwanda so far. We've been in Kigali, we've been here in the Volcanoes National Park. We've seen some really amazing stuff when we're here. And I know a lot of people asked us when we told them we're coming here to Rwanda, they said, Mark, is it safe to go there? Because a lot of people, the only thing they've ever heard about Rwanda is the genocide in 1994. And that's all they know. 1 million people were massacred here, and they don't know like what's happened the last 25 years. Well, the country has completely changed itself. I mean, the recovery, how the people have come together here in Rwanda, where it's not Hutu or Tutsi, it's where Rwandans, is amazing. It's spectacular. It gives you goosebumps when you come here. And I want you to know that Rwanda is safe. I'm here with my family. I mean, I brought my parents with me. I've got my kids with me, my wife, my whole family, and it is a safe country to visit. It's probably the safest country in Africa you can go to. For example, if you go to Kigali, the capital, you'll see people walking around at night. No big deal. You can walk around at night. You might take a moto taxi, which maybe isn't the safest thing, but you can take one when you're there. I mean, there's so many things you can do, and you feel safe when you go around. We were there during the day, went to some of the malls, went to some of the places to check out, and we felt extremely safe when we were there. I did not worry about my bags. I wasn't like, oh, what should I do? You know, I felt pretty good. And the thing is, when you go around Rwanda and you see the friendly people, the smiling faces, the kids waving at you and running with your car and stuff like that, it's just such a warm and heart, like just really wonderful place to be. And the thing is, though, as a tourist, there's some things we should know about of how to be safe. So I want to talk about are some of the issues that tourists will kind of face when they are here when it comes to safety. But in general, you do not need to worry too much when you do come here. If you are worried, go check out the State Department, what they say about the U.S. So your foreign office says about, coming to Rwanda, they will let you know what you need to know. And I'll be honest, these are things that I feel the most important things for you to know as a tourist coming here in terms of your safety. Okay, but in general, you don't really have to worry about your safety too much because it is a pretty safe country. Okay, now I think probably the one thing you should probably know is the driving. Okay, what you need to know is Rwanda is the country of 1,000 hills, so there's lots of winding roads and stuff like this, and you'll see that bikes are the most popular way to get around. So you'll see people with bikes, and they'll be carrying like pieces of lumber and huge bags of potatoes and stuff like that, sugar cane, all kinds of stuff. You'll see those people on the side of the road. You'll see ladies with water jugs on their, carrying on their head and big jars. They'll be on their phone and having a kid, on their back and holding another kid here and walking down. And you're like, but they're on the side of the road. And so that kind of gets people kind of scared when they're driving around. And I just want to know some of the driving things you should be thinking about. One, always wear your seatbelt. Okay, that's a key thing. Another thing to think about when you are here is those windy roads. If you get motion sickness or seasickness or whatever, they can cause some kind of tummy trouble. So do have a heads up for that. Also, probably the most painful part of driving are the speed bumps or the sleeping policemen. You hit those speed bumps, I mean, they're high and they will break your back. I mean, it is like, whoa, especially if you're in one of those safari Jeeps and you're in the back, be ready for a whoa, kind of like bouncing kind of stuff. So do have a heads up for that one. Now, the thing is I know a lot of people when they come here, they're going to come on tours. One thing I would say is if you have your safari Jeep when you're going around, one, don't leave anything out. Okay, don't leave anything out when you get out of the Jeep and do stuff. Put your stuff away. I mean, it's most likely going to be fine because most of the safari Jeeps are going to be parking in places that have security and stuff like that at their parking lots. And in general, the country is very safe, but it's just like anywhere. I mean, you don't leave money out in Chicago. You don't leave money out in any city around the world. You just don't do that kind of stuff. So don't do those things when you're driving around here. Now, the thing is, if you're going to be staying at a lodge, or maybe you're going to go drive to a big shopping area or something like that, some people get a little scared because they see guys with guns and stuff like that, or they might be checking underneath the car. That's just standard procedure here. They're just trying to make sure everything's okay. I know that makes it sound like it's not safe, but it is pretty safe here. So just be ready for that, because I know some people got a little worried about it. I know we went to the Hotel Rwanda that you from the movie. We actually went there and they checked underneath the car and stuff like that. Like, go on in. When you go into the mall, you might have people use a metal detector on you and stuff like that, or check your bags. So do be ready for that, okay? But I think in terms of driving, probably your most dangerous kind of thing you got to worry about is if you're going to take a moto taxi. A moto taxi is a motorcycle that's a taxi. Now, the drivers, I mean, they have helmets for themselves and a helmet for their passenger, because that's the rules. They'll wear a vest because it's like almost they have the license plate on the back kind of thing, and they'll take you around town. And because all the hills here, you might look on the map and be like, oh, that's close by, but you don't realize, yeah, it's this far this way, but it's also this far this way, so you're like going up and down. So those moto taxis can really come in handy. And the thing is, the people here really do follow the rules. So like when you're driving around, they'll be really relatively safe with you. So there is that. Also, if you're in some of the rural areas, you might see bicycle taxis as well. Though whenever they saw me, they're like, oh, my bike's broken, dude. So, if you're a heavier traveler like myself, maybe don't try to use one of those. I have seen normal taxis in some of the bigger cities as well, so you have that too. But I think it's important for me to mention is probably when you're going to be coming to Rwanda, most people think of going to see the gorillas. In terms of safety stuff for the gorillas are actually safe to be around, okay? One thing though is don't take flash photography when you're there. The guides will let you know the rules. Don't not listen to the guides. Do what they tell you to do when you go to these. Because sometimes you might they're like, oh, you have to stay, 10 meters away from the gorillas. But you know what? The gorillas don't know the rules, so they might come running by, which has scared a few tourists over the years. So be ready for that. But if you're going to be doing the hiking, okay, realize that the hikes to go see the gorillas can be a little bit tough. I mean, they can be a little stressful. And also make sure you're wearing long pants and a long sleeve shirt and stuff like this, and good hiking boots, because it can get pretty muddy out there. Because even if you're in dry season, it's still a rainforest when you are here. So have a heads up for that, okay? And you know how I told you to have long sleeves and stuff like that? Now, obviously, I don't have long sleeves on right now. I do have pants on. But I will say some of the medical stuff you should kind of think about before you come here is make sure, I've got my bug band here. Have your bug bands. Have good bug spray, things like that, so that can keep them away. Also, we're very near the equator, so you want to make sure, maybe bring a wide rim hat if you're going to be going out like Volcanoes National Park where you can see the big five. You might want to have those things there. Now, what I will say though is you don't actually wear the whole safari outfit like if you're in Kigali or stuff like that. You only use that if you're at that national park to go see the big five, okay? So I want to get that out of the way. But it always is a good idea to maybe have some longer sleeves to keep away the bugs away, keep the sun away. And since we're so close to the equator, a good sunblock you want to have and lip balm, that will really pay off as well. Another thing I think I should tell you about in terms of safety is when you eat here, look, you do not drink the tap water. You do not brush your teeth with the tap water. You will always drink bottled water, which is easily available. Like hotels will usually give you some bottles to brush your teeth with, to drink and stuff like that. Okay, so do have a heads up. No tap water at all when you are here. Now, the food in general, if it's cooked, you're going to be pretty much fine. The food here, if you like veggies, there's a lot of vegetarian here. Like this is probably the best vegetarian country to come to in sub-Saharan Africa that I've ever heard of, because there's so many like non-meat based dishes here. So that's really kind of a cool thing. But I know some people still have tummy troubles when it comes to coming to new countries. So make sure you're bringing your Imodium, your anti-diarrhea stuff, and your Pepto-Bismol for upset stomachs and things like that. You want to make sure you have those. Another thing you might want to worry about, some people, they take malaria medicine when they come here. Now, I personally am taking my anti-malaria medicine when I'm here. If you're going to be taking anti-malaria pills, you got to go see your doctor. You can't just pick them up the day before. You got to go to your doctor and get a prescription. And the thing is, you have to start taking them before you come, and then you take them after you leave if you're in areas that have malaria. Now, you might not be any place that has malaria here in Rwanda, but you might want to take those just in case. I will give you a tummy trouble warning when it comes to malaria meds. If you take it on empty stomach, depending on the kind you have, like the kind I have, you can have some major stomach problems. Like I want to throw up, I'm going to die until you eat something. So make sure if you're flying in late night into Kigali and you've already started taking your meds, you got to take one in the morning, maybe have a little snack with you so you can have that with your pills to help out. But of course, talk to your doctor, see what they recommend for you to take. So there is that. in terms of vaccinations for safety kind of things. Like I got Hep A, Hep B, and I got all my updates, you know, tetanus, typhoid, diphtheria, things like that. I did get a yellow fever vaccine for when I was coming here, so there is that. But you need to talk to your doctor. Also look and see what the CDC says about what they recommend and see where you're at in terms of your vaccinations. Because you're old like me, you might need a top up on a tetanus or something else, so do have a heads up for that. Now, in terms of safety with your hotels, there's a lot of different kind of accommodation you're going to have when you do come here to Rwanda. I know a lot of people, though, if they're going to be hiking and trekking with the gorillas, they're staying at a higher level place, okay, or higher price place. And if you're going to be staying at a lodge, it's almost like a compound kind of stuff. It's usually pretty safe, though you will notice there are guards at the doors and letting cars in and out and saying it's okay and things like that. I will say, though, in terms of in your hotel room, always lock up your passport and all your stuff in the hotel safe, if they have one in there for you. Also, what I do recommend is actually putting your stuff away in your suitcases and locking your suitcases when you're out for the day, if you're going trekking, if you're doing other things. Now, I'm not saying people are going to steal. I recommend this anywhere I go in the world, so it's one of the things that some people have recommended to me too when I've been here. But in general, we haven't had any problems. The staff here, the people here in Rwanda are super friendly. All the staff we've met and all the places we've stayed and every place we've gone have been super awesome. So that makes me feel better, but it's always smart to make sure you're not leaving out your cash, not leaving out your passport, like anywhere kind of stuff. Put that stuff away so you don't have to worry about it. And speaking of your cash, when you do come here to Rwanda, some places will take credit cards, but it's more of a cash-based society. So they use the Rwandan franc here. And if you're going to be going to like small restaurants in town, or you're going to be going to the markets and stuff like that, they prefer the Rwandan franc. If you're doing tourist stuff, they're glad to take US dollars, no problem. Or if you're in Kigali, and a lot of the places they'll take dollars there, no problem. So that's pretty easy. Some places will take euros too, but US dollar is preferred over euros. So that's one thing. But the thing is, if you're going to be coming in with a lot of cash, okay, don't keep it all in one place. Make sure you're splitting it up. Like I have part of it and Jocelyn has part of it, and so we kind of, like, one of us loses it, well, at least we have the other half. So you do want to be careful with that. And I think the last thing I need to warn you about isn't really a safety issue. It's more like another tummy issue when you are here. They do have one really, 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 really hot sauce that's here. And if your guy's a great guy and tells you to, like, dude, be careful because that's really hot, you need to listen to him, because Caleb and I made the mistake of getting that really, really hot sauce and going, da, 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 and he's like, dude, don't do that. Like, we had a bite, and we're like, oh. So it burns once and twice, okay? So I just want to give a heads up for that one. But in general, if you're looking, is Rwanda safe? Yes, I feel comfortable to come here with my family, my kids, and my parents, and everybody. So I feel good with this. And the people really are warming. And I know sometimes you get worried because why are people staring at me? But just remember, they'll stare, then they'll smile, and then they'll wave, okay? And you do the same thing. You just wave as well when you go by. And it got me thinking about one of the things you need to know about when you come here to Rwanda is how do you tip when you do come here? Because you do tip when you are here, and there's different ways you're going to tip, because you're going to have drivers, you're going to have guides, you're going to have your lodges, you might go to a restaurant in town, these kind of things, all right? So the first tipping I want to talk about is actually for your guides or your driver and guide. It's usually the same person that's taking you around. When you have those, if you're going to be going for a day, it's usually between $5 and $10 per day per person. And so for that whole Jeep that you do have, make sure enough people put stuff together that it's at least $20 a day for the Jeep. But if they're doing a good job, think about $10 per person per day for these things. And the thing is, a lot of times you'll have the same guide for the entire time you're there. And so you don't need to pay them every single day. Just wait to the end and then count up how much you should give them and then give it to them at the end, okay, of your trip. And that's kind of how you do it. Now, if you do get a driver from the airport, like you're coming in Kigali and a driver picks you up and just drops you off at your hotel, usually $5, $5 US is okay, 10 US if you want to do that. They did a really nice job and stuff like that. But that's the usual tip for them. When you're driving around, you will see taxis and you will see moto taxis. So that's the motorcycle taxis. You do not really tip them. It's not expected because you kind of negotiate the price before you get in the taxi to know how much it's going to cost and stuff like that. So tipping is not expected with taxis and moto taxis. And probably one of the bigger things you want to think about is if you're going to be going and staying at some of the lodges, you're going to have a lot of people working there, a lot of people helping you out. And you're like, do I tip each person? Well, if you're staying in a lodge, like here at Virunga Lodge, okay, if you're going to stay at some other places, we were at the 5 Volcanoes Hotel and stuff like that, you'll see a box by the check-in desk, okay? And it's actually the tip box. And what you should do is think about $10 per day for the room you have, okay? And you're gonna tip that. And you can do it at the end, or you can do it each day, whatever you want, but you're gonna put that money into the tip box, because then it gets distributed among all the workers, and so you don't have to tip each single person, which can make life a lot more simple. Now, if you're going to be doing a hike, like you're going to be trekking with the going to see the gorillas here in the Volcanoes National Park, if you do use a porter, someone's going to carry your bags and carry your stuff for you, because it does get really, it does get tough and muddy and you're stuck and stuff like that. It's not an easy hike all the time, all right? So you might want to use a porter. You will tip them about $10 for them carrying your stuff for the day. And if you're going to be going into town, you're not just going to stay at lodges and eat at hotels. If you're going to go eat in town, you might go to a restaurant. If you're in a tourist area, you'll probably just round up the bill or just tip 10% on top and do it that way. And the thing I should tell you is when you're tipping here, if you're going to be at a lodge or your guides or anything like really tourist based, you can tip in US dollars, no problem. But if you're going to be like at a restaurant, you want to tip there, usually prefer the Rwandan franc, so you might want to have some cash for that, okay? So I hope this helps you know a little bit about the tipping when you do come here. The service has been outstanding. The people are super friendly, so you don't mind tipping either. So it's a really cool thing. And if you're one of those people that doesn't believe in tipping, don't come here, okay? Because that's how people make a living here, and you do need a tip when you're here, all right? Have a good time, and if you have any other tips for visiting Rwanda, put in the comment section below so we can help other travelers coming here to Rwanda, because I've noticed on my research there's not a lot of information out there for this fantastic country. Anyway, I'll say bye from here in Rwanda.